Hello, so this video is going to be like an explanation video for the technical review that I already posted. Um, it, Most of the problem is caused by the loose screws. Yeah, the loose screws, or if it's super glued, it's too tight. Most of that, yes, and we have some problems with this kind of pins because the pins doesn't stay on there properly. I received it about 2 weeks ago, and I shot more than 3,000 rounds using the HPA magazine that I made by myself. More than 3,000, almost close to 5,000 rounds. Anyway, let's start with the easy parts. The stock. The stock, it's a fairly easy thing because. One moment. The stock, the screw here was loose and it starts to wobble, but now I applied the Loctite and it doesn't wobble anymore, and it was there was wobble between the stock and the stock tube, but I was able to put this between here and now it doesn't wobble anymore, so it's an easy solution. The rail, it doesn't have any problem. It's just M-Lock M6 rail, so it doesn't have any problems. The upper receiver, however, we start to have some issue. Now, let's start from the flash hider. The flash hider, I have this one and this one, but no matter how much I tighten it after like a 200, 300 rounds, it came loose and it starts to wobble. It doesn't matter how much I tighten it, or even I try to put the Loctite, but it doesn't stay well. So what I did was to make the 3mm thread here and put the one grub screw. Now the problem is fixed forever. The pins in here, this pin is stuck well, but this pin was really loose. As you can see, it's really loose, and I can put it out with my finger like this. It doesn't stay there, and a lot of problems we have on this gun is loose pins and loose screws. Now, when I first received it, the screw here was loose, but I didn't notice it. I just used it, and with the recoil it starts to get loose even more, and eventually it came out. And when it came out, when it almost came out, the whole thing starts to move forward and backward with the recoil, and this thing has spring inside, and it start to jump up and down with the recoil, and it actually hit here, and it, as you can see, it damaged the hop-up groove here. The problem is this part is not made out of steel, but made out of aluminum. This one also, and I'm not sure if you can see very well through here. It's not really easy to see. Maybe from here. As you can see, the notch that holds into this hop-up wheel is really small, less than 1mm, and the length it actually engages is 0.5 or something like that. So it's really easy to damage like this. I didn't turn it by myself like this. It just damaged because of the recoil. It moved up and down, and this thing starts to hit the wheel itself, and it damaged like this. So I came up with some solutions. Let me check. Let's see. So I really don't like to make one hole or one thread to the guns. especially if it's more than $2,000. It's a really expensive gun. I didn't want to do this, but my hop up was getting loose every time I shoot it, so it was really inconsistent, and I had to make one hole and then one thread and put one grub screw here so that it catches these gas tube really well, so it doesn't get loose anymore. And there's one other solution here, so, because even with the locking device in here, it's just super loose. So what I did is, give me just 1 second. Shit. Go there. Yeah, I put a small O-ring, rubber ring in here so that it can have more friction when it's inserted fully, so that it doesn't turn by itself with the recoil. And this part is also made out of aluminum, and I have some experience with the VFC MCX that this part gets bent or broken and had to be replaced with the steel ones. Also, some people complain that the outer barrel on this gun is not steel but aluminum. I like it, but some people complains. Well, that's about it. And also, yes, in here there's side charging handle in here. Also the screw inside, I don't know if you can see, maybe here inside here there's also a thread, but this thing was loose, and it starts to wobble really bad, and I noticed it right before it fell apart, and I also put Loctite and tightened it. It doesn't get loose even after 3,000 4,000 rounds, so it's fixed by Loctite. And other than that, we don't have much problem on the upper receiver. Now, before we move on to the bolt carrier here, we can talk about the lower receiver. I'm not sure if I can find it here because my desk is really dirty. I need to clean it. One moment. Okay, maybe not. This buffer is not the original one, but the original one is made out of plastic, and it's really thin, so it can break after a few thousand rounds. It's not good. Instead, I use this urethane, this like a silicone buffer. It's really hard, so it absorbs more power, so that it doesn't do much stress on the receiver, so it's gonna be okay. And yeah, other than that, the lower receiver itself, it doesn't have so much problem. The problem that I had was the rear body pin retainer. Now, this is the original retainer. As you can see, the tip is already worn out. This was at first it was pointy, but after like 10 times I removed the rear pin and put it back in, the tip in here starts to get rounded, and it was not able to hold the rear pin in position, and after shooting a few rounds it starts to come out, and I have to put it every time with my thumb. Now I am making one out of this broken drill bit here. Now this is made out of hardened steel, so it should be more I don't know, hard to break, I guess. Sorry, English is it's not my first language. So That's most of the problem that we have on the lower receiver. Let's move on to the trigger box. Now, this is the original trigger box that came with. I replaced this sear in here and here. I just replaced both of it. Now, I didn't even use this one. And I guess the hammer spring in the original trigger box is much more stronger than this option one. And the option when I first received it, I had that problem. Now this is the original one. As you can see, the pin in here is extremely loose and just comes out like this. So it cannot hold the position. And I talked to the Toxicant and they sent me the replaced one. I should have it somewhere over here. Now, yeah, the problem with the Toxicant pins, that it's a common problem on any Toxicant product. The pins cannot hold the position. Not even include this one, and this one, and other many pins. They cannot hold the position. I mean, Toxicant is not a cheap product. It's really expensive ones, and they really need to change some designs on here, or figure out some way to fix these problems. And the trigger box itself is really good. I mean, it's really light, smooth, and everything works great except the pins. These pins, I need to figure out some way to fix this. So it has to go on like this, and it has to stay in here, but it just falls off like this. And this thing is like an auto sear only for the MCX. Now it's supposed to be like this, and as you can see, this pin is also moves around. Anyway, so when hammer is cocked by the bolt carrier, when it comes forward, here it pushes here it pushes the bolt. The bolt pushes the latch here, and it disengages the sear in here, so that it can be fired like this. Hammer gets cocked. The trigger doesn't work because the sear is still holding. This sear is still holding the hammer here, and when the bolt comes forward, it pushes, disengages the sear, and now we can press the trigger. The problem is with the XM5. Now here, this part, it pushes the latch here, but it was over here before I did the modification, and the bolt pushes down the sear, disengages the sear before the bolt is fully closed. So let me see, where's the upper receiver? So give me one moment. So the sear was disengaged when the bolt was about in here. Now I grind it. Now the sear gets disengaged from here about too early, and that makes the full auto very inconsistent. So I had to grind in here about 4.5 millimeters so that it this part pushes the latch here much later when the bolt is fully closed. You have to be careful to grind this because if you grind too much in here, then it's not gonna disengage the sear when the bolt is fully closed, and you cannot shoot the full auto. The semi fire, it works perfect, but still the auto fire, the full auto, doesn't work properly. I need to grind a little bit more or figure out some way else to fix this problem. Yeah, this is a design flaw that Toxicant, I really hope those guys will fix this problem. Now speaking with the bolt carrier here, this bearings in here is really the most awful things that I have ever seen. I mean, I can understand that it reduces the resistance, but the problem is people like me or any other people, when they have some problems with their guns in the bolt carrier or in the trigger system, or even in the nozzle, they want to take out the bolt carrier and see what's wrong with the gun, what the nozzle. In the field, it is really extremely easy to lose these bearings because it just falls off. It's a nightmare to open this gun to just take out the bolts in the field, because it's really easy to lose this one. Actually, yesterday I almost lose these bearings, and I can understand where they're coming from, but they really need to change the designs in here. And two screws here was super glued from the Toxicant, and it was really hard to remove it. As you can see, this part is already damaged. Speaking of super glue, I don't understand why Toxicant used the super glue, not a proper thread locks like a Loctite. They said they have a lot of complaint about the super loose screws, so they came up with a solution. They had to put the super glue, but if it's too hard, the people say it's impossible to disassembly for the maintenance and something. But super glue is not a thread lock. It's not a solution. They really need to learn how to use proper thread locks like Loctite. I'm a machine engineer. I'm a full-time machine engineer, and I use both at work and to the airsoft this one, and 95% of the times it's enough. When it's hardened, it's not so hard to take out the screws without damaging it, and even with the vibration, it doesn't get loose. I mean, after I applied this Loctite, I shot 4,000, 5,000 rounds with this gun, and the place I put this Loctite, it doesn't get loose, nothing. And the loose screw problem doesn't end there. I also bought the MPS nozzle from the Toxicant, and the screw for the adjusting the valve position was super loose. I mean, there was some kind of a thread lock already applied inside the valve on the bolt on the screw, but it's really loose, so I had to also replace the bolt, and I had to also apply the Loctite to prevent it from getting loose. Okay, I need to fix a few things after this video because I have too much problem with the pins here and here. And we can talk about the recoil spring and the guide. The guide is really thin metal, and just came loose. This is not a good sign. I actually seen someone that already snapped this one because it's really thin, I think they also need to change this to a bigger rod. And the system here is you put the spring here, and you put the bolt carrier inside like this, and there is one E clip. Let me find here, E clip. You put it on here to prevent the bolt from coming out completely, but the system makes this E clip to bend and break really easy. As you can see here, it's already bent. Luckily I have a lot of spares, so I can just change it, but when it's break inside, when you open up the upper receiver, the recoil spring will just come out toward your face, and it's not safe. And also you can damage to the rod here. It's not good. Other than that, yes, on the nozzle here, I'm not going to disassemble it because I just want to show you, but I just want to show you that there is one O-ring here. Maybe I can share the picture here. I have extra nozzle in here. There's only one rubber seal in here, but when it's attached to the bolt carrier, this here is super loose and it leaks a lot of air. I had to put some Teflon tape, and also I had to add another O-ring to make the tension and create the air seal. And that's all I can think of right now. But most of the no, actually I have another ones. Actually I just remembered that I had few things. On the trigger box, this latch is supposed to be here like this, but as you can see, there is damage to this latch because when the bolt carrier goes back, this back part, it hits the latch here and making this damage in here. And of course, this is also another design failure. I can just grind it off, but in Toxicant in the future, I really hope they change the design of this ledge so that it doesn't get hit by the bolt carrier. Otherwise, I have to grind off here, but that's not a good idea. And also, in here we can already see the dent forming in here on the bolt carrier by the hammer, of course. The roller here, yeah. The biggest complaint that I have on this gun is that this gun is not a cheap, like a 300. If it was $300 or $400, then I would say yeah, I could just go on with it. But this rifle is one of the most expensive rifle on the market for airsoft, and this kind of things, the design failure or even this kind of dent, it means it's not hard enough. It's like it is a steel, but it's a soft, it's like a milder steel, so that we can see this dents. I mean, there is another gun that I have. I have the GHK M4 that I've been using for almost 10 years. And this bolt carrier, it doesn't really have, it's only markings, it's not dent really. You don't even feel it with your fingers. This bolt, I've been using it for 7-8 years, and I shot more than 15,000 rounds, but not 15,000 rounds, more than that, a lot more than that. Anyway, there's no actual damage on the place where the hammer hits, but now with the Toxicant we already have the damage in here. Yeah, I mean, this explains a lot of things. Okay, I need to fix few things like this or the pins, and then I can upload another video to see if it's fixed or not. For now, that's about it. Thanks.